Can you survive without testosterone? Are men the only persons who have testosterone? Yes, women have testosterone as well. This is the level of psychoticness that is current in today's society. Anybody know who this individual is? Man who calls himself Lil Nas X. And it's amazing that they tend to do this so much with black individuals. It's amazing. And don't get me wrong, this is done to many different races in the United States, but it's amazing that especially these black men are paraded, and they will literally say that this is the epitome of manhood. Historians decode the religious symbolism and queer iconography of Lil Nas X Montero video. In this music video, he was literally gyrating on a figure that was the devil, literally in this video. And the children in America eat these things up like it's candy. Anybody know who this is? Gentleman who calls himself Harry Styles. Now, does he look very manly in this picture? No. Unfortunately, again, persons will say that this is the epitome of manhood. When Harry Styles met Homer, the surprising classical roots of gender fluid fashion. All right, we're going to skip past. Now, everybody see this man. Does he look very masculine? He looks relatively masculine, but what type of pants is he wearing? He's wearing something called skinny jeans. Now, are skinny jeans very good for the health? No, they're not. Skinny jeans really do choke your sperm count. Physiologically, skinny jeans literally crush the scrotum. Now, do you think that Satan is intentionally inventing these forms of fashion? Yes, he is. We're going to go past. Anybody know what this is? This is a symbol of something called microplastics. Notice, sperm counts are on the decline. Could plastics be to blame? And I want to make this very clear. This is not from conspiracy theory outlet. This is taken from The Guardian, which is a major publication in the United Kingdom. This article goes through the details talking about that many of the products that we use have microplastics, and it's literally destroying male sperm count. Now, do you think that this is going to help create a whole sea of good, strong, godly men? It's not. Because you see, Satan's warfare is not just in the spiritual realm. Satan is trying to destroy each and every one of us physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially. All right. Again, we already read this quotation. Now, does anybody know what this is an artist's depiction of? This is the experience of Joseph. You see, the experience of Joseph, probably more than most in the Bible, actually shows us what it means to be a proper man. To be a proper man. Let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Genesis. Let's turn in our Bibles to the book of Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37. Let's notice what the Bible says in Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37. Let's notice what the Bible says in Genesis chapter. We're going to start in verse 16. So Joseph has been sent by Jacob to go and meet his brothers. Let's see what happens. It says in verse 16 of Genesis 37, and he said, I seek my brethren. He's talking to an individual, by the way. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, they are departed hence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came, the closer is the test and the more severe the discipline. Now, who here wants to be used by God? By show of hands. Now, I hope that's all of us. Now, if we want to be used by God, by default, God is saying that if you want to be used by me, I'm going to have to bring you through the school of sorrow. You know what's so sad? And sometimes, you know, we see it as amusing. I was on the internet. I was looking at a meme, and it was a meme of a particular gentleman who was on the phone, and he was calling God, asking him to take him off of God's strong warriors list for 2024. He was tired. This says in Patriarchs and Prophets, speaking of Joseph, with a trembling heart, he looked forward to the future. What a change in situation from the tenderly cherished son to the despised and helpless slave. For a time, Joseph gave himself up to uncontrolled grief and terror. Now, how old was Joseph in this experience? He's about 17 years old. Now, principally, age-wise, was he a grown man? No, he wasn't. But again, do you have to be old to be a grown, God-fearing man? This is a question, a trivia question. When did Jesus become a grown man? Principally, when he was 12 years old. When he was 12 years old. Then his thoughts turned to his finances to act as became a subject of the kingdom of heaven. One day's experience had been the turning point in Joseph's life. Its terrible calamity had transformed him from a petted child to a what? To a man. So in that brief instance on his road to Egypt, that's when Joseph became a man. And if we, especially as husbands, as prospective husbands, as those of us just as men in general, if we are going to be proper God-fearing men, we need to learn and know how to deal with adversity. We need to learn how to deal with adversity. All right, now in light of that, we go on. Now, what is the third ingredient that you need for a good home? Woman. Unfortunately, this is not a good woman. This is what Proverbs